all liquor stores in Philadelphia were closed after the mass looting that hit a bunch of liquor stores, hit Foot Locker, hit Apple, hit Lululemon. They just went ham. This was organized. This was one of those things where, all right, we're going to wait and see what happens with this verdict. And the justice system came up with, the judge came up with, this cop isn't guilty of murder. Dude in the car was holding a knife. Cop didn't know. Whole legal deal played out. Guy was doing his job. Yep. Guy in the car ended up getting killed by the cop. But, when you're jacking around with stuff like that, things can happen, right? You got a knife in your hand. It may not end well. As a result, this is what we've got going. We got some footage here. Let's get into it. The decision to shutter more than 24 fine wine and good spirits locations was in the interest of employee safety. And while we assess the damage and loss that occurred, Sean M. Kelly, press secretary for the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, said in a statement, the stores will reopen when it's safe to do so and when the damage is repaired. This was an organized deal. This was coordinated, just like during the Black Lives Matter demonstrations. Antifa joined in on that. They co-opted with that. I was in Seattle the other day and I saw up on a church of all places in Seattle. You should be ashamed of yourself. You had Black Lives Matter up there. The whole concept of Black Lives Matter. Yeah, of course, but everybody matters, right? You put that up there, you are basically just supporting this notion of, hey, it's okay to loot. It's okay to, go down all these other roads that are just not legal, that don't benefit society, because that is basically what you're supporting. And that entity in of itself has just had so many issues. And, to see that on the side of a church, you're like, okay, what's wrong with you? This is some virtual signaling by, some Seattle church. Defund the police and Black Lives Matter. How's that working out for you? The stores will reopen when it's safe to do so and when the damage is repaired, Kelly said. He continued, we apologize to our customers for the inconvenience and we appreciate their patience and understanding. Here's what happened last night when teen looters targeted retail shops. This is exactly during Black Lives Matter, during that whole deal, during George Floyd, what we saw here in Bellevue. Identical. Bellevue Square got rocked in a coordinated effort. Bellevue police were totally caught blindsided because you had dozens and dozens of kids just breaking into the mall and looting it like there's no tomorrow. That's exactly what you had going on here. So this is coordinated. This is on purpose. This is, they're just taking this incident as a hall pass. And here you go. Let's watch a little bit of video. Let's take a look at some quick video here.
You know what's funny? Every single store is broken into on this street, both sides, except the Red Wing. They ain't even got a broken glass, no graffiti, nothing. Champion, done.
Nobody wants work boots.
Done. AT&T, shot out. Red Wing.
That to me right there was like, okay, that is craziness. All right. I'm going to show only a very quick clip of this because I'm only going to show a very quick clip of this. This is Meatball. This is video from Andy No.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat.
All right. Everybody must eat. Okay, but that's a liquor store. That is a liquor store that you are looting there, that is being looted. This is Meatball here. Meatball has been arrested. Deja Blackwell, also known as Meatball, posted a live stream video inciting Black Lives Matter rioting and looting in Philadelphia. She was one of the approximately 20 who was arrested following mass looting targeting a liquor store, Lululemon, Foot Locker, Apple, and others. Nice job, Meatball. Well done. I mean, your parents must be so proud. Everybody's got to eat. Well, yeah, but you've got food stamps. You've got other forms of, payout by the state, by the city, by the county. You got all kinds of places to get money to eat. You don't need to be robbing like that, but that's what we're doing. We're doing some mass looting as a result of a innocent verdict and a murder charge. All right. The stores will reopen when it's safe. We apologize to our customers. Let's get down here. Here's some, every single retail store in these cities is going to have to close eventually. There's just no way. This is from Wall Street Silver. There's just no way to make a profit with this type of stuff constantly happening. It's true. It's true. Like we saw Target shutting down stores here in Seattle. Went over there yesterday to look at those two Target stores. Those Target stores are fine. They've got security up the backside. They've got one way in, one way out. It's all just ratcheted down. They've got a whole bunch of the products behind lock and key. The Ballard store that Target is closing down, and the significance of this is that Target came right out and said, safety of our employees and our customers is the primary reason we are shutting these stores down, along with the fact that they're not making money because so much of our product is going out the front door in the 5 and 10 finger discount. So, this is what you've got going on. You've got major corporations now coming right out and saying it's a safety issue. So I went over and checked out the two stores in Seattle that they're going to close, one in the U District, University of Washington, and one in Ballard. And the stores themselves were fine. I mean, they were well stocked. I mean, they had a ton of people working there. I had a kid come up to me on the second floor of the U District one and say, hey, can I help you out? That's better service than I get in the Target here in Bellevue. Right? And they're going to close it down because the community is like this community. It's rocking the stores, and they're not looting here in Seattle. Not now anyway, but yeah, this is what you've got going on. All right. I'm not going to play this video here. You can check that out if you need to, but the Philadelphia is completely out of control, and it was, and you just got to arrest these folks, and you need to throw them in jail. You need to put Meatball in prison for a long time. Hey, inciting violence. Everybody's got to eat. But booze? I mean, is that what we're doing? Cause that's a stretch at best, liquor store. All right. I mean, maybe they sell some food there. Democrat controlled cities are imploding in real time as leaders could care less about law and order. It's not that leaders could care less about law and order. I think they do because they know if they don't have a little tiny bit of it, they're probably not going to get elected. But at the same time, look at Chicago. Hey, you could go for this guy who's more of a moderate, and he's actually backed by the, police foundations in police entities in Chicago. Or you go with this guy who's a total progressive and your safety's just going to go down the toilet even further. Oh, let's vote this guy in. Let's go, Brandon Johnson. That's literally who they elected. So, yeah, you couldn't care less. All right. I mean, we're watching this unfold in front of us, right? At the same time, the Biden administration is waging war on the Second Amendment, which only leave law-abiding taxpayers defenseless against criminals. That is a huge component of what's out there, right? And want to take away guns? All right. Well, what about when you need one when this mob comes to your house? Yeah. Hey now. Okay. As progressive leaders across major cities fail to enforce law and order, America's youth is quickly spiraling out of control. Some of the stuff I saw in the communities, the homeless, drug addicted communities in Ballard and the U District. I mean, there's tiny homes around. So, it's just loaded with drugs because the whole homeless community, that's what it's all about. Some of the stuff I saw is open drug use, stolen goods left and right. I mean, saw 4 brand new tires on rims underneath a tarp right next to a tent. All right, you don't have a car, but you got some nice rims and tires there. What's up with that? Well, I need them for my trailer. Who knows? Saw somebody that had just recognized that their vehicle had been broken into, and the guy's just screaming at the top of his lungs. Saw people just, smoking the doobie, smoking fentanyl, you name it, out of control. So it is, this is part of Seattle where a lot of the homeless have gone to, because you've got this lawless component of, you got good access to the drugs. You've got the ability to sell the goods in these fencing markets, stolen good markets, and you've got a target nearby to steal from. Well, that target's going bye-bye, and I don't blame them one bit. Not one bit. The latest example occurred during the overnight hours in Philadelphia's center city areas, where a crowd of 100 young people looted retail shops, according to local media Fox 29. Police Commissioner John Stanford said that the teens began looting stores around 10 o'clock Eastern Time, which sparked a massive police presence across Walnut Street between 15th and 18th Streets. It's almost a quarter mile, right? Almost a quarter mile. What we had tonight was a bunch of criminal opportunists taking advantage of a situation and make an attempt to destroy our city. It's not going to be tolerated, he said. Video is posted on X. Don't you love it how all of a sudden everything is now just X? That whole notion of, well, there's a lot of hate speech on X, on Twitter, therefore I'm going to leave. Elon Musk just really ruined Twitter. I'm going to leave. And so they leave for like a week, and then they're like, well, there's nowhere else people are going to listen to me, so I guess X it is. But they don't say they're coming back. They leave the public with thinking, well, they're going to leave, so I'm going to leave. It's kind of like all those artists who didn't want to be on Spotify when Joe Rogan was doing his thing. Joe Rogan is full of hate speech and he's misinformation, all that. And then quietly, Hey, by the way, Spotify, I'm not making the money I once was because you took down all my stuff because I asked you to. Could you put it back up there? Because, this whole thing's gone on long enough, and I think it's had the impact I thought it would. I got my name in the press a lot, and, virtue signaled really hard here. And, nobody seems to care anymore. And I guess we're just going to, could you put my stuff back up? Because I need to pay the bills, right? Same thing with X, formerly known as Twitter. People have just gone right back to it because they don't have the ability to amplify their voice elsewhere. What a bunch of hypocrites. I mean, you should just call them out one by one. All right, you said you were going to leave. I see you tweeting here. What's up with that, you loser? Yeah, videos posted on X, not on said other venue where there's less hate speech. Videos posted on X show Foot Locker, Apple, Lululemon, and Fine Wine and Good Spirits were targeted by the looters. There you go, right? I would show this video, but it would get this podcast flagged. Here's Jonathan Cho, our man on the streets here in Seattle, tweeting about every man for himself, looting in Philadelphia's city center after all charges dismissed against cop. If you want to check that out, you can, but I'm not going to show it here because, we're not going to show it here. There were also reports of retail shops outside of city center. They just went nuts, just like after the George Floyd and after the Breonna Taylor. It's just an excuse for them to just go crazy. And what's the point? What is the point? What message is being sent here? Nothing. They're just taking advantage. This is organized criminality, straight up. And your city leaders, you need to go and arrest every single one of these perpetrators. You've got the video footage. You can do it. You've already got a whole bunch of them in jail. Now you need to prosecute and you need to convict and you need to throw these people in jail, including Meatball. Meatball needs to go away. Meatball, make an example of Meatball. Just throw Meatball in jail, handful of years, promoting violence. I mean, basically inciting a riot. Because that's what you had, right? This had nothing to do with protests, Stanford said, adding, what we had tonight was a bunch of criminal opportunists taking advantage of a situation to make an attempt to destroy our city. Thanks, progressive leadership, not just in Philadelphia, but across many major metro areas for pushing failed social justice reforms that only embolden criminals. That's what you got. They've been given the green light. Hey, you want to loot? Go for it. Yeah. Now Philadelphia's like, well, wait a minute. This didn't work last time. They broke a whole bunch of stores and they destroyed, parts of the community. They burned it up, set it on fire. Nothing to do with any kind of message. It's just destruction. It's just they're taking advantage of what's going on, and they're taking advantage of society saying, well, because Black Lives Matter, you guys can just go ahead and hall pass to this because, the message is what it is. Well, I hope Philadelphia, I hope they convict these kids. And they are kids. They're mainly teenagers, right? They're mainly teenagers. Convict them, throw them in jail as adults. If you're 16 or older, throw them in jail. Make an example out of them. That's what you need to do. You know what's going to happen? Probably not that. Meanwhile, elite billionaires and the radical left do little to revive law and order. They're more focused on disarming law-abiding citizens while metro areas implode. You can't argue with that. I mean, you've got stores leaving. You don't have enough police officers. You got craziness going on. Yeah. And you're not finding this in the communities that didn't defund their police. A lot of this is just, this is straight up liberal, just progressive, just super progressive. This is progress. Looting of stores, looting of Lululemon, looting of the liquor stores, shutting them all down. This is progress. We are really getting somewhere here, folks. I don't know where it is, but it's progress in a direction. Yeah. This is wildly just out of line, isn't it? It's time for law-abiding citizens to demand law and order from the government, but they're not going to, just like Chicago. Nah, no thanks. The law and order guy, it's even just not even a law and order guy, just leans a little bit more that way. Not him, because we know the progressive guy, if he just gets enough time under his belt, he's going to make some real change, like we're seeing here in Philadelphia. After all, the government is supposed to be working for taxpayers, not the other way around. So true, right? This crime chaos stemming from failed social justice reforms and now open southern border policies has spread into suburbia. I mean, that is happening. I am watching that happen here in Bellevue. You put a whole bunch of homeless people into these shelters. They're going to bring their lifestyle of drugs and theft and everything else, human trafficking, prostitution, you name it. That is coming. And litter. Litter is the big one. Stolen bicycles, another one. Tent cities. Yeah, that is coming to my burb here in Bellevue. We are literally seeing that as the county has bought up a couple of big hotels and turned them into, single room occupancy for the drug addicted homeless. And they're saying, well, we got to put this somewhere. So they put it in East Bellevue, not in West Bellevue. Now there's one that's kind of close, but it's not West Bellevue official. You know what I mean? Because nobody would have it there. And like a hard no-go. But even West Bellevue, where, Bill Gates and everybody else lives, that's super, super expensive opposed to just Bellevue, which is expensive. You got homeless folks in downtown Bellevue doing their thing. So the creep into suburbia, it's not just something that Tyler Durden writes, because on a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0. I love that quote because it's so true. It's so true. And this progressive policy resulting in this, absolutely. Philadelphia, look at Kensington Avenue. I mean, if you want to just see an absolute shit show, check out Philadelphia. I mean, it's not the Wild West. It is dystopia. It is way worse than New Jack City. It's way worse than Escape from New York. It's way worse than Road Warrior, Mad Max, because at least there you've got kind of a hierarchy and a game plan. In Kensington Avenue, you've just got a bunch of addicts killing themselves and the city just cleaning up the streets. All right, go ahead, do it again. They clean up the streets daily and it just gets rocked. So, I mean, if you're okay with that, you're okay with this looting, and if you see this as progress, I'd say, yeah, good luck. Enjoy. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.